Folks, welcome back. Welcome to our Friday afternoon live stream leading us into the weekend. Starting August off, it is a brand new month for many more Pokemon and market shenanigans to take place, which I know everyone is excited for, as always. And so appreciate all you guys showing up to hang out with all of us on a Friday afternoon. Jonathan, what's up, dude? What's up, Mr. Hawk Lugia? You're here to be shilled. Prepare to be shilled. MVP, what's up? Guys, today's gonna be a little different. I honestly, I just want to have like a brief little talk, just about kind of a little bit of everything, and then we can cover some of the things happening in the market, and then obviously we'll do like a Q&A, and I'll answer all of your dying questions you've been waiting to ask. But yeah, man, I just think I think there's just a lot of tension still, a lot of tension in the hobby, and I don't even know if all of it's real tension or if it's some of it's just manufactured for like online clicks and views and just to kind of have content. Sometimes it's unclear to me, but there's definitely still a lot of tension, and I understand, right? I 100% understand. Things are expensive, right? I know I'm at least seeing a lot of videos on my feeds of people talking about, the tariffs kicking in on like regular, I guess, household type items now. The conversation has shifted away from, real estate being too expensive, and now it's shifting more to everyday items and things. And so, obviously part of that is going to go back to Pokemon and say, now it's even getting more inexpensive or more expensive to own Pokemon, and more, unlikely that people are going to be able to afford it. And this is going to have to affect the market and all these things. And I get it. One thing I will say, and I think most can agree with this. I think it is simultaneously both the easiest time in all of history to become an entrepreneur and replace an average full-time income. I didn't say make multi-millions of dollars. I didn't say become a billionaire. I think it's probably the easiest time with enough, motivation, a little bit of risk, and a little bit of work. I think most people, if they, had kind of the right mindset, the right framework, you could likely replace an income right now just by finding enough business in your business to support yourself, right? I'm not saying build a giant company with employees and all kinds of systems, but just to be a self-employed, self-operator. I think it's simultaneously probably the hardest time, maybe not in history, obviously, but in modern times, to just go out and fill out a job application and get a job and make enough to kind of support a lifestyle that most would deem, the American dream, or, if you're in another country, kind of like live the lifestyle that you think is like normal, I would say, wherever you live. And I think that's where the disconnect is happening. Truly do. In every aspect of life, in both work, in politics, in Pokemon, in anything you could think of, I think that's the disconnect. I think the reason people are at each other's throats so much is the people that have like the motivation to go out and make something for themselves, and want to take on some risk, are not afraid of risk, are not afraid to put in work, are doing very well. They're very successful right now in today's economy. And then the other side of people who, again, are not wrong. I want to be very clear, are not wrong. This gets misconstrued a lot because, again, you know how people want to be online. They want to try to take the smallest clips possible of what you say. They want to play it back, and then they want to trash you for saying it. It's not wrong. It's just different, because the people on the side that say, I just want to get a job and work 40 hours a week and be able to support myself, whatever. They are finding it extremely hard and the hobby extremely expensive. And so what's happening is you kind of seek out your own, right? You seek out kind of your own tribe. And so there's a lot of people who are feeling that strain and who, just literally at the base point of the definition want this to be strictly a hobby and don't want to think about any finance, do not want to have to think about any value. They either want to play the game or just open a few packs and they don't want to hear anything else about it. And so that group of people is finding a kind of a home with a lot of the creators that are, kind of leading the charge against people like me who either have a business, who invest in the product, who talk about value, all those things. And then you have the other side of people that see it completely opposite, and they're having a great time. They're seeing the values of their investments and their items go up. Their businesses are doing better than ever because things are still selling in record amounts. They're still finding plays out there because there's always undervalued things. And so this group of people is having a fantastic time in the hobby. They think everything's great. And so I always like to step back and kind of observe. And that's what I've really been observing. And obviously, I think part of it is just the content thing. People just want to, again, take weird clips out of context and really kind of rile up their audiences and try to create us versus them and all this stuff. But I think at the core of the issue is it's just two different groups of people that want two different things. And again, I don't think either side is wrong, right? But I do think you become a product of who you surround yourself with. You've heard this for years. It's so true. I've literally been in, chat conversations or watched, live streams, read the chats, read the comments on both sides, right? It's almost like watching a left versus right politic thing. And man, the anger, right? The anger, the hopelessness, the defeat on, the side that wants everything to be cheap and affordable and all that stuff. It's alarming, right? But then on the other side, there's so much like hope. There's so much excitement. There's so much success. There's so much like feeding off each other. There's sharing of different plays, different opportunities. There's talk about, what move is next and things. And everyone just seems to be doing better and they're positive. And I think that is what's causing the clash right now is two different sides are looking to do two different things in the same hobby. And you have to understand that no matter what I want or someone else wants, you have to live in reality. You have to operate within the confines of what we're given. Here's the reality, all right? The reality is, back in 2022, you can call it because COVID pumped things too high. You can call it because Pokemon overprinted. You can just call it because the demand got lost, okay? Pokemon was in a bad spot. Boxes were cheaper than ever. Stores were not making money. Distributors were not able to distribute product to stores, meaning Pokemon was not able to print more and send it to distributors because they couldn't get rid of the stuff they had because nobody wanted it because it was overprinted and too widely available. Simultaneously, Magic recently was dealing with the same problems. They were overprinting their card. It's where, Rudy Alpha Investments Game Piece Army thing came from. They were overprinting their items and nobody wanted them. And so they were not selling. As a company, you do not want your product to be falling off shelves, having to slap sales stickers, clearance stickers on them, right? And so what is happening is, in my opinion, these companies have realized, they finally realized that a lot of people, not saying all, a lot of people truly want their items to hold value. They truly like their items to not tank in price after they open them or after they buy them. They truly enjoy a level of scarcity, a level of rarity. And the fact that these companies like Magic and Pokemon are becoming so successful off this strategy, you have to at least look at that and say, obviously, a lot of people agree with that, because if not, they wouldn't be doing so well. And so I understand people on the other side, it's a knee-jerk reaction to just blame something. Well, it's the distributors, it's the evil scalpers, it's the investors, it's the businesses, it's the rip and shippers, it's the people who are buying these prices, these items at these prices. They're the problem. It's easy to point blame and say everyone else is the problem. But at the end of the day, you have to look back and say, why weren't all of these people that are complaining about prices, that are saying they wish they had, X amount of price lower, they wish these cards were X amount of dollars, where were all these people when everything was cheap? Pokemon, Magic, any other card game. They weren't there. They weren't buying it. It was sitting there. Stores could not sell it. And so I think a lot of people, they believe, they want to believe that they would want everything if it was widely available, that it was very, very cheap, inexpensive. You could just, walk up anywhere and get it. You could log on and pay, very cheap for any card you wanted and fill your binder with all of them. I think people want to believe they would want them. But the fact of the matter is, every time things have become widely available and cheap, the markets have been very slow, and the sales volume is very low, and less people are engaged, less and less people watch content, less and less people buy. And so just from a pure business perspective, you have to at least, you don't have to agree, you have to at least be cognizant to the fact that it does seem like, from a business perspective, these companies are doing better with scarce products. Every time a new product's released, it sells out at distributors. It sells out at a lot of stores. The Pokemon Center is able to sell products at MSRP, which they were never able to do before, other than maybe PC ETBs, but even those never sold out in Sword and Shield on release. And so, and then they can pump hundreds of thousands of items into Costco's and Sam's Clubs, and they sell out immediately. And so now Costco's and Sam's Clubs are happy, because they're able to move products immediately. They don't want items sitting on their shelf. They want cash flow. Distributors are happy because now they can move product. They don't have to spend money storing it. Their salespeople get paid. Everyone's getting paid. Store owners like it because they don't have to sit on a bunch of debt inventory. So now the stores are getting paid, right? And a good portion of the collectors enjoy it because, yes, it's more expensive, but their cards and their products are holding more value. And so even though you spent more for it, it's worth more. It's kind of like if you could buy, a vehicle. Say you could buy a car at $15,000, but in a year it was only valued at $7,500. Or you could buy a car for $50,000, but in a year it was valued at 45 because it just held its value that well. Well, you could say the $15,000 car is a deal, but is it? You lost half your value. Why wouldn't you want to go for the nice car that holds more value, right? And so I think that's what people are starting to change their mind on, is they're starting to realize, yeah, I'm going to end up paying more for one of these booster boxes, but they're holding more value than they used to before. I'm going to end up paying more for X card, but it's holding more value than cards did in the past. And that's the change. That is the whole shift that is happening right now. Not just that, the inflation, the tariffs. People are already being conditioned and used to now paying more money for everything in life right now, correct? And so I think more people, again, regular people outside of the online space where everybody's angry at every 50 cents something rises, they're getting more, I wouldn't say okay with, but more used to paying a higher price for trading cards and collectibles. I talked about it in my last video. The Gundam TCG was just released. It's selling at $240 a booster box. It's got 24 packs. That's $10 a pack. People are paying $10 a pack for a brand new, untested TCG of a decently popular IP, nowhere near as popular as Pokemon, and they're okay with it. I mean, at least people I've talked to, they're selling out of it. They can't keep it on the shelves at $200 to $240 a booster box. And then, you have the Chinese sets. People are okay now paying $10 for a Chinese pack, right? You see Final Fantasy. Play boxes were never $200 after release like Final Fantasy. People are now willing to spend $7 to $8 for a Final Fantasy play pack, even though they know they're just like Pokemon boxes. They can get reprinted. They're not the collector boxes with the serialized chocobos that are worth 50 grand. They're regular packs, right? And this can be seen in all different TCGs, all different sports cards, is people are just willing to spend more on their hobbies now, by and large. And if they weren't, then the sales would not be there. And I understand another big argument is from the, kind of the side against this stuff is, well, it's all just evil scalpers and flippers selling to each other. It's like, if that was the say hi. I just saw your chat. I will read chat after I get done with my spiel here, man. But yeah, dude, it's like, if the products weren't actually getting into collectors and end consumers' hands, eventually that would come to an end. And eventually you would have a surplus of products. But the fact of the matter is, the majority of the product is getting opened. I know some people refuse to believe that. All you have to do is literally just spend maybe an hour of your time, even if you don't want to spend an hour, even less, and just pull up all the popular platforms. Pull up TikTok, pull up Whatnot, pull up Drip, pull up YouTube, Twitch, pull up Fanatics Live, pull up eBay Live, and just scroll down the list and look at how many packs are being opened per hour, per day by streamers. And then you have to calculate all the casual collectors that are buying and opening, all the card shops who mass open for product. And you really realize that a lot of this stuff, the majority of the stuff is being opened right now. It is going into singles, binders, collections. It is getting graded, sending the population report skyrocketing. And again, it's making a certain group angry, but another group very happy. And that is why there is clashes, because anyone who owns the assets are happy when they go up. Anyone who doesn't own the assets complains when they go up. It's the same thing with the economy. And here's the last thing I want to talk about is risk. Anything in life that has high rewards, it's not easy. Risk is not easy, right? It's not easy to stick to a diet plan and a exercise routine for extended periods of time, 6 months, a year, 2 years, right? But the people that do that, they get results that 99% of people don't get, because 99% of people can't stay on a diet and not cheat on it, can't continue to keep their exercise plan and find every reason not to go. And so the results you get are unattainable for a lot of people because they give up, right? It's the same thing with investing, same thing with collecting these things, right? Most people want a sure thing, right? And honestly, even with the things people consider a sure thing, they consider things like the S&P index a sure thing when they don't realize there's still a level of risk there. They'll consider things like gold a sure thing. Heck, crypto people consider Bitcoin a sure thing now. People consider real estate a sure thing. And over long periods of time, it has been. But again, you could argue Pokemon over a long period of time, it has been as well. But there's always risk involved. You are risking money that you went out and worked hard for. And most of us probably did jobs we didn't want to do. And the first thing you want to do when you get money, you want to enjoy it. You want to go buy yourself something. You want to go out to eat. You want to go on a trip. You want to go see a show. You want to do something to enjoy what you put that hard work into. What you don't want to do is put it in something that you might lose and then log on the next day and realize you did lose money. Wait a second. I just worked all day yesterday for that money and my investment went down and I lost a portion of all that money I worked that hard for. I traded my time for. And that is why a lot of people, they end up not long-term investing. They get knee-jerk reactions and they take their money out when they lose. On the flip side, that is why people will take their money out really quick when they win, because they think about all of the time they would have had to put in at work to make that amount of money. And so they want to hurry up and take it out. Investing for long periods of time, putting money in a thing, in collectibles for long periods of time, it's not easy. It can be painful. And it's I would say the majority of people just cannot do. When a box goes from $100 to $200, a lot of people have already taken profits. When, boxes go from $200 to $400, even more people have taken their profits. When a box goes from $400 to $1,000, I would say the majority of people have already taken their profits and no longer own it. And so when the box goes from $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $10,000, the people who get rewarded the most are the ones that did the hardest thing. They let it sit there. They didn't take it. They let their money work. And so it's no secret that doing hard things, taking more risk than the average individual is going to give you more rewards. It's going to pay those rewards in dividends. And it's just funny that the knee-jerk reaction is to be angry at people who sacrificed immediate pleasure, who took on more than average amounts of risk. When they're rewarded for it, they're demonized for it. When a lot of the times the people demonizing those people are the ones who didn't want to forego the pleasure. They wanted to order DoorDash that night. They wanted to buy the new video game. They wanted to go to a concert with their friends. They wanted to spend the money in a million different ways other than putting it into something and investing. And then they'll say things like, well, it shouldn't be that expensive. It shouldn't be this way. I'm not here to get in an argument about how should and shouldn't be. It's the way it is. We all operate in the same confines of the same system, and we all have decisions to make. And you shouldn't get angry at people for making different decisions with you. I know there's always going to be the conversation of the haves and the have-nots, but you could literally take two different people with different mindsets and give them the same income, the same job, the same everything. And one person is going to end up in a completely different spot in 1, 5, 10 years than the other person by making exact opposite decisions. And that's for you to make. But if all you're going to do is just get angry at people that made different decisions, that see the world differently, that live differently than you, then all I have to say is, I guess, continue to be angry, continue to make, the drama content, continue to get angry at people that, say something you disagree with, continue to get, mad at American Eagle for promoting jeans. And I mean, it's just, I had to throw that one in. It's over everyone's For You page right now is American Eagle jeans. You haven't heard about American Eagle in umpteenth years, and now you do. So, hey, they're doing something right. They're getting talked about. But yeah, man, that's pretty much what I wanted to start today's video out with. Not really a certain, everyone's got the videos showing the charts of something going up, something going down. I told you it was going to go up. I told you it was going to go down. But no one talks about like the behind the scenes, like the mindset of understanding like what you want out of this hobby, what you want out of life, and not getting angry that somebody else wants something different and makes different decisions as you. So that's pretty much all I got. I will go ahead and take questions, turn it into a Q&A, and I will go ahead and respond and answer anything. Guys, ask me anything. I don't care what it is. I will not dodge any of your questions, any hard questions. If you guys got something you want to ask me, and I'll fire away, man. So let's go ahead and start diving into it. I have no questions. I don't think for myself. Just tell me what to do with my money. Perfect. Perfect comment. Ooh, Culver's and Nomics. I second that, dude. Culver's is legit. Culver's is good stuff. Yo, Alex, I listen to almost all your videos while I walk. Your videos have helped me so much drop 100 pounds. Give me content to listen to while I walk. So thank you, dude. Richard, that deserves some congratulations, man. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Do PSA submission for top hits of sets? What tier do you grade at bulk grading? So because of the wait times right now, I have completely stopped bulk grading. I am only grading cards that the singles are usually more than $100 in value. And the PSA, graded versions are usually multiple hundreds, if not over $1,000, to where it makes sense to be able to send at the $25 to $40 tier. I think it's 25, right? Anyway, I send it the value tier, I believe it's called, where it's like 20 business days. I think it's $40. And it just makes sense. The cards get back in a timely manner. I can work the grading and the shipping cost into the cards because there's enough margin in them, or there's enough dollars in them. And that's what I'm doing right now, because I think the bulk grading tier is too risky right now. The market can do too many things while the cards are sitting there, which could kind of fluctuate you out of the gains you should have had and take a lot of losses, especially on nines and things. So I am personally not doing anything but the higher grading tiers where I get my cards back faster. As sealed booster boxes get more and more expensive, do you ever worry that they will become less liquid, that you will have to swap them for cheaper boxes so they can be sold easily? Johnny, look no further than XY Sun and Moon era. Every single time someone throws one at auction, it goes for full price, if not, within, 5-10% or 5%, 5-10% below or above. And so, and a lot of those boxes are now selling in the multiples of thousands. And so is there a certain point where things may get illiquid? Possibly. Are any of these Sword and Shield Scarlet Violet boxes anywhere near that? I don't think so. Maybe Evolving Skies is nearing that. But yeah, I think because everything in life's become more expensive, even the hobby is starting to kind of have inflation within of like price points people are willing to spend. And I think the ceiling is constantly being raised. And so, no, I do not think a multiple $100 booster box, even a $1,000 booster box, is too expensive or will get less liquid. That's my take there. Do I think Journey Together enhanced booster boxes will be less popular now that the enhanced BB is coming back to Mega Evolutions? No. I don't think so. It's still going to be like the first, and also, yeah, I think it really depends on the reprint. If we don't get any more Journey Together reprints on those, I think the promos are going to hold value, which will hold more value in the sealed boxes. And so, no, I still like Journey Together enhanced BBs as long as we don't get more. The people are waiting on the sidelines don't realize how many people are also waiting on the sidelines in all aspects of life. That perfect entry into whatever it is, it will never happen. Yeah, and so this is actually, I'm going to spend some time on this question or this comment. Okay, guys, here's the thing, right? If you're bearish, it means you're negative on the market. So here's the problem with bears, okay? How long have people been bearish on the stock market? They have been bearish on the stock market for years and years and years. And if you look at the gains you would have missed out on, and then whenever a crash or a correction does come, and you look at how much the correction dropped to, and you look at the time when people started to complain, most every time people would have missed out on more gains than they would have lost by taking action. The same thing's true in Pokemon. You've been hearing people say not to buy Scarlet Violet era since the beginning. That's when the I'm going to wait crowd started. I'm going to wait until these are 2 years old and buy them when they're close to going out of print. I'm going to wait till they come to MSRP. Here's the problem, right? Even if the MSRP gang and these negative people become right just one time, 2 times, it doesn't make up for all of the gains they've missed not taking any action. And that's what I've said from the beginning. You'd be better off taking action on every single set than waiting out every single set. Because what's going to happen is you're going to have maybe a couple get reprints, but the majority are not. And you're actually going to still be up money, even though you may end up taking losses for a short while or being down on a couple sets. And that's the problem is, Prismatic Evolutions. Let's say it comes out with a massive reprint, even more than what we've seen, and it actually drops the MSRP. You'll have content creators come out of the woodwork saying, see, I told you not to buy. Look how much money you lost. And you're like, well, yeah, but I bought Destined Rivals when it was released. And I bought, Surging Sparks when it was released. And I bought 151 when it was released. And I bought Paldea Evolve when it was released. And you're just like, all of the gains combined far outweigh any losses I've taken. And this is always the fact in any market. It's the fact in real estate. People have been saying not to buy a house for years now. They've been saying wait for interest rates to come down for years now. And, the minute a housing correction comes, they'll say, see, I told you, look, housing's down 5%, 10%. And you're like, bro, my house doubled in the last 5 years. Do you think I care I'm down 10% from the high? I'm just glad I bought when all of you idiots told me not to. And that's kind of the point I always try to make is the fact that you might be right that something may drop a certain amount of percent at some point in the future does not make you right overall because you sat out all of the other gains that all of us other people who took action have seen. And I think that's what makes them angry is that, that people continue to take action, continue to see success when, they don't believe in it. Right. And that's the last thing I want to say is, just because you don't believe something should be a certain value or you don't agree with how other people spend their money, it doesn't make you right. it doesn't matter what you think. What matters is what the majority of the market thinks, and when they put those dollars to work, what the market does, right? All that matters is what is, not what I think, not what you think, not what should be, not what shouldn't be. It's just what is. And we have to all of us operate in the same what is market. This is it. So take action, don't take action, but just don't complain either way if it doesn't go your way. Absolutely. To be fair, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be able to work a job, spend a little bit of disposable income on each month. I actually think that is the ideal scenario, 100%. And that is one of the things that I would say I get taken out of context for the most. You know, I've never said that just working a job is bad. Never once, but you can take little bits of what I say and make it sound, right? Make it sound really bad for a little clip of a YouTube video. And you got to give them credit for that, right? It's good content. It produces this visceral reaction. It produces engagement in the comment section. All good things for content creators. But absolutely, man, I agree. And I do think life is getting hard for people that don't want to do extra. And that is sad. I get that. That is the truth. And again, it's a reality we're living in right now. And I don't have the answers for it. But I do know hanging around others who are constantly negative and constantly talking about all of their problems, all of the world's problems, and not doing anything to better their situation, whether that be financially, mentally, emotionally, anything like that, it's not healthy, because there's other groups out there that are 100% positive, that are excited each day they get up, that always are looking for other opportunities, that don't take negatives or losses or, failures very strongly, and they just see it as kind of a road bump, kind of a mistake they can learn from. You want to be in those groups. Whether you want to be in people that are in financial groups like that, you don't have to, but especially emotional and I don't want to get spiritual, but you want to be in groups of people that are building each other up and not constantly tearing others down to try to make the group feel better, that we can all sit around and tear others down and make us kind of like misery loves company. You don't want to be in those groups, because you're never going to get anywhere. You're going to stay in a rut, and you're always going to be behind. So yeah, I think there's truth to all those statements, man. People are scared of negative numbers, but love spending it on fast food, malls. Yeah, this is so true. People would rather go out and 100% lose the money by spending it, right? Oh, yeah, went and bought food. Well, I have to eat. Well, do you though? You can go eat at home for a fraction of the price, right? Well, I had to, go see this concert. You didn't have to go see the concert. I had to see my favorite sports team was in town. Okay, you can watch it just as easy on TV, right? And so it's people will they come up with reasons on why they have to do something, but they don't realize that, well, you've just spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars doing all those things, but then they'll get really upset when a box they bought went from $300 to $260, and they'll be all upset, losing sleep over it. I'm down $40. It's dude, you spent $40 on a restaurant last night. I think you'll be okay. And I think that's so true. People are so easy to spend money, but are so hurt every time they take a little bit of a loss for a small period of time in an investment. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Fernando, the best mod in the game, gifting 5 memberships. Appreciate you, dude. Thank you, Fernando. May all of the ground beef liquid cheese tacos be yours, my friend. Let's see. Print runs would be higher if the fan base actually bought during the downtrend. I bought Vivid in 2025 on PCI. What? Yeah, exactly. I mean, guys, the market has already spoken. Every time Pokemon has overprinted, the market spoke and nobody bought. Primal Clash, Roaring Skies, right? Evolutions for the longest time. Am I right? Sword and Shield era, Chilling, Fusion, Battle, Vivid, Shining Fates. Pokemon has seen time and time again what happens if they overprint their items, right? everyone thinks like they're leaving money on the table, but they're not, because the little bit of money, the little shot of money they would get in the short term is not going to be worth the long-term unconfidence. People will lose confidence and they'll stop buying the products long-term because they don't believe the products are going to stay scarce enough and hold value. And so when you're looking to build a company with long-term value, with customers that are going to stay for the long term, you don't want your products to be worthless. If your products are worthless, no one cares about them, no matter how many people online tell you they would care. They would still collect if everything was a penny. Most people would not be here. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Alex, what do you say future threats and things we should be concerned about given how hot the market is right now? I don't want to want that mindset of everything continuing to go up be like the way it is now. Julio, future threats, man. If the Pokemon company, the people running it, the board, the CEO, president, if the leadership changes or the path changes and they take kind of the route that Magic the Gathering was taking under their last leadership, or the route that Pokemon take in the past, and they just actually overprint everything and it becomes worthless, you may have a large amount of people lose confidence in their collections and their holdings, dump everything. I would say that would be a threat. But as far other than that, man, Pokemon's been doing something right now for almost 3 decades. They have found a way to continue to stay relevant, continue to make it multi-generational. And because they've created such a significant value in their products, you actually have people out there confident in holding them for value the same way people have always held, war memorabilia, artwork, watches, sports cards, other things for value. And as long as that stays what consistent of a path, I don't think there's much fear going forward, honestly. I think right now we have more product than ever getting ripped and getting deleted from the market, meaning we are having scarcity rise in these items faster than they ever have before. Back in Sword and Shield, Sun and Moon XY days, the product disappeared. The reason the prices move so much slower is you had way less product deleted from the market. You didn't have rip and ships. Rip and ships is, I've said it multiple times, it's the X factor of today's market. You have more packs than ever being deleted from the market, whereas before you may have had people holding stuff, more investors holding larger positions, it being, ripped slower, things were moving slower. The reason things are moving at such an alarming rate is they're being opened at such an alarming rate. And so I think really the only thing is if the company changes its position on printing, and they really, make Pokemon just kind of a dime a dozen and worthless, and then people just don't have confidence in holding their items into the future anymore. But as long as they keep somewhat of confidence there, I think it's going to continue to play out the same way. Yeah, and the whole MSRP, guys, look, I've said it a million times. I'll say it again. People do not want MSRP. People do not want MSRP. Don't get it twisted. I don't care how many YouTube channels pop up. I don't care how many Timmies in that comment section say it. The minute a card shop, an online seller on eBay or TCG Player has a booster box available for $150, I promise you people are not going to want MSRP. They're not, because they know they can get it cheaper. And you know what's going to happen? You're going to see the Walmarts and Targets and all those places, product falling off the shelves, not being sold, because guess what? People are buying it online cheaper. And the only people that are always complaining right now they can't find product, where are they going to be? They're not going to be saying a damn word then. You know why? They're going to be logging on eBay and they're going to be paying $45, $50 for an ETB, even though they could go to their local Walmart Target, buy it for $55, $60. Oh, but why aren't you going to local Walmart Target now? Oh, because it's cheaper online. They just want cheaper prices. MSRP is just the slogan that they took up as their battle cry, along with print to the ground and all these other ridiculous things, right? people are always going to cry for cheaper prices. And so whenever products are all 150, they're going to be saying it needs to go back to the way it was. They need to go down to 100. People like that will not be satisfied until businesses are literally going out of business because they're making no money. And until, product is sitting on the shelves and can't be sold and clearance stickers are being slapped on there and stores are taking losses, they will not be happy until that day comes. And so, no, the MSRP thing, man, it's just the battle cry of the flavor of the week because prices are higher than MSRP. When prices are under MSRP, people still won't complain about it. They'll complain about the prices being too high. They just won't use MSRP as their slogan. It's the way it's always been. It's the way it's always been, man. People were complaining that Evolving Skies was too high when it was 130, when other sets were 100. It's so stupid. People were saying Evolving Skies needed a reprint when it was freaking $130 in a booster box. That happened. That was real. That was real. So make no mistake. Make no mistake. Let me tell you how you can prove what I was saying. You can prove it. Why do you think every Sword and Shield era product was still available on the Pokemon Center for years after their release? If people truly wanted MSRP, they would have logged on to the most trusted source, even more trusted than Walmart or Target. They're still a third-party seller. You could have logged on to the source of Pokemon, the Pokemon company themselves, and bought from them directly for up to 2-3 years after release of an item for MSRP. Why didn't those people do it? Because it was cheaper elsewhere. All they want is a cheaper price. They don't even care about convenience, right? You can conveniently right now, people say, you can't find it anywhere. Sure you can. Name a product. I'll find it for you. I can log on eBay and TCG Player right this second. I can find your product. I can have it shipped right to your door. You can find it. You just don't want to pay the price. Same thing when when MSRP is more expensive than market price. Now they don't want to go pay MSRP. Now they want to pay cheaper. It's just the same. It's just different arguments, guys. It's the same thing. What do we got? What do we got? The way Alex is talking makes me feel like the top 0.1%. You probably are, dude. You probably are. Yeah, I mean, exactly. You don't really know anything. Every investing is a form of gambling. Here, if you guys want to talk about like how things should be and how things shouldn't be, I can get into that conversation, right? I can get on your guys' side and say, yeah, we probably shouldn't have built a society where you literally, unless you make obscene amounts of money, you can't really save yourself into retirement. You can't save yourself into financial freedom. What do you have to do? You have to basically take your income, part of your income, to the marketplace and gamble it to hopefully grow enough in your investments to be able to produce enough income and residual income to be able to live on, whether that be in a 401k, IRA, Roth IRA, just a regular brokerage account, in a real estate portfolio, in other, assets like Pokemon, gold, Bitcoin, whatever. And essentially, you have to gamble a portion of your income, cross your fingers and hope the investments play out the way they always have, and hope that there's enough left and enough, it can pay you enough in retirement to be able to live. It's truly amazing we've built that system, but at the same time, I'm not here crying about it. I'm just playing by the rules and the system that we're given. That's all you can do. That is all you can do, is make the best possible decisions, the best possible risk to reward ratio decisions you can make with your money to hopefully have the best chance at, becoming financially independent. And again, my channel is not going to be for everyone. If you're here to talk about gameplay, if you're here to just talk about, how pretty the art is and put it in your binder and all that, I'm not the channel for you. I'm just not. And if you hate talking about finance, I don't know why you came to a channel called Nostalgia Nomics, short for economics. And I've been very clear since the beginning of this channel that this is a investing, market, business related channel. And so, you know, it's not for everybody, but these are the conversations we have here. And so, you know, if that's for you, you probably like this channel. If you don't like any of those things, you probably don't like this channel. It's no biggie. No, Brown, dude, paid the condo off today. Stuck my nose to the ground. Now I'm free. Start doing more things like investing in myself and hobbies. Congratulations, dude. Such a good feeling, isn't it? Congrats, man. I know people keep asking this. Team Rocket Joey will never, let me repeat, never be invited on any of my streams or my channel. So that should kind of put the debate on hold. I do not care what he says about me. I do not care how many times he uses me in his thumbnails or his titles. I don't care how many times he tries to bait me. It will never be enough. So there's your answer. How stressful has life been for you lately? I would say it's more stressful than when I just worked a regular job and did this on the side, but it's not as stressful as things were in the last, I would say, 4 to 8 months. The last 4 to 8 months were very, very busy, very stressful, going through like immense growth, you know, hiring somebody. It's been a lot to kind of switch, a lot of, you know, kind of growing pains in the last 4 to 8 months. But I would say, you know, this summer when things have kind of slowed down, you know, here's the thing. I plan according to what, again, the data shows. And the data has always showed us sales slow down in the summer. And so while other people are freaking out and they're trying to figure out what they're doing wrong and how they can bring in more business and you know, racking their brains, I've been actually very relaxed this summer. I expected a slowdown on sales on the streams, and I've been using the time wisely. I've been enjoying more time with my wife, enjoying time hanging with friends, enjoy time at the pool, and taking any of the free hours that I do have, spending it doing things that I couldn't do when things were crazy busy. And then if things do pick up now that we're getting into August, September, and I get extremely busy again, well, then I'll get back to the grind and I'll wait until the next slowdown to be able to do things that I want, because that's the best thing you can do as kind of an entrepreneur business owner is if you are not, I would say, irresponsible with your money, not irresponsible with your business, you can set yourself up to make sure that you're not, you know, stressed out when, you know, you have the ebbs and flows of your business. And so, yeah, man, I've actually been, I would say my least amount of stressed in the last couple months than I have been in the last year. So that's been nice. It's definitely been nice. I've been enjoying it. Bryce, dude, you know me, man. I think I have been a Scarlet Violet era person from I'm not gonna say day one, but pretty early on. I've been preaching Scarlet Violet. I went heavier invested in Scarlet Violet than I've ever been in any other era. And I truly, at my core, not because I own more of it, I think the Scarlet Violet era is better. And the reason I say that is it's more fun to open. It's a more enjoyable era. If anyone disagrees with that, they're just out of their minds, right? You can definitely make a ton of arguments for Sword and Shield. There is no way you're going to tell me it's as fun to open. Crown Zenith is the only set that is as fun to open as Scarlet Violet. Everything else is atrocious. Every time I have to open it on stream, it hurts. It physically pains me because the hit rates are so atrocious. Now, Sword and Shield era has higher highs, right? When you hit that VMAX alt art, it's a higher high, but it has extreme lower lows. I mean, you can open a booster box of a Sword and Shield era set, and just basically get garbage. Where at least in Scarlet Violet, you're getting some amount of illustrations. You're getting more special illustration rares than Altar. It's like you get more. I would say it has a meatier midsection than Sword and Shield does. And so for me, I would rather have an all-around good era than have a bunch of awful sets and then a few high flyers. And so, yeah, I get Evolving Skies, Fusion Strike. It's got some good sets, Crown Zenith. But man, Sword and Shield base, Rebel Clash, Vivid Voltage, Champion's Path, Darkness Ablaze. Like, it has, I mean, Pokemon Go. When you compare the overall era, there's no way you can say Sword and Shield's better, in my opinion. But that's just me. That's just me. And by the way, I think because of that, Scarlet Violet will continue to be open more and more and more as time goes on, making the product even more and more scarce. And I do think a lot of the gains are going to outproduce Sword and Shield gains. Just it's going to continue, guys. It's not just a print problem. It is a problem of it's too fun to open. The hit rates are good. It gives people a better opening experience. And so the packs are going to keep getting ripped. Get an Italian sandwich for lunch or stick to the meal prep diet. Dude, stick to the meal prep. I like to save my cheat meals for when, like, it's when you're going out, like, you know, with people, you're going out with your significant other, you're going out with your family, your friends, like you're going out somewhere, you're going to be at a restaurant. Save your cheat meals for that. If you're sitting at home or you're sitting at work, you already have your meal prepped. Dude, stick with that. Save your cheat meals for when you actually need them. That's what I say. Do I think Destined Rivals reprints will follow the recent strategy where they slow down on booster boxes and make other products? I believe what has been happening will continue to happen as long as until it's changed. And so, yeah, I would say if it's not broke, don't fix it. I think it's going to continue that way. Do you think the red Victini will do? Was lucky to pull it. I'm unsure, man. I know people love things that are unique, right? That's why the silver Dialga from Phantom Forces is so good. It's the first and only red card. If there's more red cards, it'll likely devalue it. If there's never another red card, it'll probably do pretty good long term. Now, I think everything's a little overvalued in black and white because it's brand new right now. So I think it will have price decreases from now until X date. But I think in the future, like long term, 3 to 5 years, if they don't print any more red cards, I think based on just the uniqueness, it'll probably end up still being one of the most expensive cards in the set always. Whatever that price point is, I don't know. Wish Nikki. Oh, we got to have a conversation now. We got to have a conversation now with 400 people in here watching. Wish Nikki, happy Friday. Thank you so much for the super chat. Wish Nikki has become the subject of somebody trying to use their platform to hurt somebody else's business. And while there is a place for that, similar to what's happening with PokeVault right now, where he's getting scammed, you know, from chargebacks and things. Those are the times where people should use their platforms to help someone out and, you know, call out those things. But we're not going to name, you guys all know who. We're not going to name who made a video trying to trash Wish Nikki. So I'm going to give you my take. I have known Wish Nikki now for quite some time. I've done multiple transactions with him. He's, you know, I've talked with him multiple times now through messages and then also on the phone. Super good guy. Never had one issue dealing with him. Every transaction went off without a hitch. Super easy communication. And so don't believe everything you hear online just because people may get emotional, disgruntled, and because they didn't get their way, not tell the whole story. So I do want to at least say that Wish Nikki is a very trusted person in the community to do business with, and you can trust them and everything else like that. So I do want to go ahead and throw that out there for anybody that knows what I'm talking about. All right. Appreciate the super chat again, man. Alex, do you think the stock market pulling back will have effects on the Pokemon hobby? Well, the stock market's pulled back multiple times in the last, in recent times, and it hasn't had an effect on the Pokemon hobby. And so I don't know why this one would. If we descend into more of a, full blown recession, and it gets really bad possibly, but no, I don't think the market movement of the stock market up and down has a direct correlation. No. The shillionaire. I just want to be a shillionaire. If I had 10K to put in the hobby, where are you putting it? I don't know, man. Here's the thing, dude. Like, it's not about being right? I think people gamify their investing in this hobby because it's like the thing to do online is constantly compare like what you said to what someone else said. And I bought this where he said to buy this. Look how my thing did. And then 6 months later, your thing's doing better than their thing. And then you can come out and be like, I told you, it just took more time. I beat him. It's not about winning or losing when it comes to investing. It is about finding items that you think are not only undervalued, but you deem the risk to reward ratio far geared in your favor, meaning very low risk, very high reward. And I would target items like that. It doesn't matter if you could have put something in something else and it did better. It doesn't matter if you did worse or you possibly lose. All you're looking to do is take high probability bets. That's what investing is. High probability bets that over the course of time, if you make enough high probability plays, you're going to win more than you lose. And as long as you're winning 70, 80, 90% of the time, you're going to consistently build wealth. That's all it is. Don't make it more than it has to be. I don't know when the bull market will end. I truly don't. Maybe never. Maybe we descend into a new normal and this becomes a new normal and maybe things just don't rise at the same rates they used to. And you don't see as large of percentage gains over time, but the products are always expensive. I don't know. Proven tips to avoid scams when liquidating high cost items. Sell to Alex. Sell them to me. I mean, I would say the easiest way would be going to a card show. The National's happening right now in Chicago. You could go to Collecticon and just sell in person, right? Get the dollar bills counted out right in front of you in person. That'd be the easiest way. Otherwise, if it's a slab, sell through eBay. eBay has authentication guaranteed. You send the slab, it goes directly to eBay. They authenticate it. After that happens, after they authenticate it and they receive it, the risk is off your shoulders. They send it to the end customer and they take care of everything. So I would say eBay is a great way to go if it's a slab. If it's a booster box, you could always send it to one of the auction houses, but there's risk there. You sell it yourself, there's risk there. I would say, in my opinion, if you're looking to avoid scams, you didn't say get top dollar, you said avoid scams, maybe end up taking a little less for it and selling to a trusted member in the community. You don't have to sell to me, but sell to anyone else, any other business that buys products that has a long track record, and maybe take a little less for it. And that way, you're avoiding scams. Because any online platform, whether it be, Facebook groups, Discords, Reddits, even eBay, TCG, there's always going to be a certain amount of scams. Now, they are widely overblown on YouTube. There's actually, if you think about the millions and millions of transactions that happen every day on eBay and TCG Player, a very few amount of them ever actually become scams. But if you're that worried about it, then I say go some of those routes. Shining Legends Mewtwo GX. Are you serious? It's my favorite card. It's like my favorite card in the entire hobby. Oh, it has been for some time. So yeah, I think it's a great card. Either one. If you can find it raw, PSA, great card. Love that card. It's a unique card, right? Why do so many adults complain about having to pay $5 to $10 per pack? Because they've been conditioned to, because packs were cheaper and now they're not. And the only thing people are conditioned to do is complain when things are higher than they deem they should be. That's pretty much all I can really say about it. I do think this, yes. I do think Pokemon has begun to change their print philosophy away from BBs and ETBs because of the investor market. It seems they're doing more collection products from what I've noticed. I do. I 100% do. I think they've... All right. I think Magic the Gathering and Pokemon are both doing the same thing. They've realized, contrary to what everyone out there believes, I don't care. We see a different eye to eye. I understand. They understand. These companies understand. There has to be a balance between value, long-term value and growth, and product availability and price point. There has to be a symbiotic relationship, okay? Without that, either group is going to leave the hobby, right? And so I love what Pokemon's doing. I love what Magic's doing. The Magic collector boxes, serialized cards, no reprints. Amazing for investors and collectors who care about value. They have the play boxes. You can still get all the playable cards, play the game the exact same way. They do reprints. They keep the price of the pack cheaper for all the players and all the pack openers and casual hobbyists. Perfect. Pokemon seems to be going the same direction. They're printing less booster boxes, making sure there's an item that you can buy that is going to hold value and grow in value over time because of scarcity, while simultaneously they're keeping an eye on what the most playable cards are. They consistently reprint the playable cards in the new sets. Black and white, they just reprinted what? Pokegear 3.0. In Prismatic, they reprinted a bunch of playable A-Specs and other cards. And so they're continuously reprinting the playable cards. They're continuously putting out collection boxes, bundles, tins, other types of products that get the packs in the hands of the casual collectors, the players, the pack openers, while simultaneously keeping the scarcity of the booster boxes and the specialty ETBs high. And I love it. I think it's great. The only people that don't love it are just angry individuals that don't want to see people have value in their collectibles. It's all there is to it. I mean, look at 151. They have made 151 items available since the beginning. They keep putting out bundles. They keep putting out Blooming Waters boxes. They put out Alakazam boxes, Zapdos boxes, you name it. What did they not do? They did not reprint the ETBs. What the ETBs do? They went up and became insanely valuable. So now the collectors and investors have value. The people who love 151 want to open the packs, have the cards. The packs are still cheaper, right? The cards are still cheaper because so many have been opened. So many cards are out there. It should be the best of both worlds, but you're always going to have people upset because somebody has something that's valuable and they want it. That's all there is to it. I know everyone thinks like I'm just like, oh, Alex is evil because of what I saw on someone else's channel. Well, let's name them, right? Let's call them out, right? Because of what Team Rocket Joey said about Alex, because of what Opossum Bud said about Alex, what Kyra, whatever she calls herself, says about Alex. You know, the list goes on and on, right? And the fact of the matter is, I want there to be peace in the middle. But the problem is the people on the, kind of MSRP game piece army, so the print into the ground side, they don't want peace in the middle. They truly, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, it seems like they don't want any of these items to have value so that people's collections can actually have value and they're not blowing their money and having no value to show afterwards. They don't want people to be able to hold product and then go up over time. They just want everything to be widely available, cheap, and no one to have any value, no one to be able to they don't want businesses, obviously, to be able to make very much money because, again, card shops were struggling when boxes were $80, $90, right? It just seems like they don't want a middle ground. I want a middle ground. Like I said, I think keeping a specific item like a booster box or Magic the Gathering having a collection box that's really expensive and that holds value for collectors and investors, and then also printing the other products into the ground so the packs are cheap and the cards are cheap, I think that's the best of both worlds. Other people don't agree with that, and so I'm evil. Sue me for it, right? Hey, Ethan, what's up, dude? Wait, are we booming? I think so. Yeah, I think Destin Rivals 320. Yeah, we're booming. We're booming, baby. Oh, okay, here. Speaking of the thumbnail, right? So we have Mega Evolutions pre-selling at about $270, $280 a booster box. If you think that's getting back to MSRP by release, you're crazy. I don't care how big they say the print runs are. Likely, maybe it gets down to the low twos. But put it this way, I am pre-ordering. I've already, Ethan, Celestial TCG. I've already pre-ordered at $200 a booster box. $200 a booster box. I've already started to pre-order for Mega Evolutions. So that's what I think of it if you want my take. Destin Rivals, already 320. See, here's the problem. Here's the problem with all the people that were bearish and said not to buy Destin Rivals. If you did not buy Destin Rivals when it came out, 220s to 240s, and now it's at 320, and there's no reprint in sight. By the time the reprint gets here, what if Destin Rivals runs to 350, 400? The reprint may not even correct it down to 220 to 240, meaning you'll have people celebrate this reprint and say it drops from $350 to $400 a box all the way down to $260. You'll have people celebrate that as investors got crushed. Meanwhile, they're forgetting to mention they told you not to buy at 220. Do you see how that can be confusing? And so that's the problem with sitting out and waiting, is you have to be okay with missing out. You have to be okay with missing out, and you may miss out. Last thing about the thumbnail. Last thing. The Seismitoad. The Seismitoad is very interesting. So I think everybody knew it was going to be some crazy stuff. I believe I was way wrong, by the way. I believe I said it was probably going to jump around between $50 to $100 range. I thought it was going to jump back and forth between all the buyouts and manipulation and all the plays people were making. I had no idea this was going to happen, but there are some factors we have to think about. So put on our tinfoil hat. Conspiracy time. Conspiracy time. There is a 666 in the card. If you don't know, it's on the upper right side, just over the Seismitoad, and it's literally a pretty clear 666. No idea if Shinji Kanda. Again, one of the reasons why the card is so expensive. Everyone's really about the Shinji Kanda artist. Did the Magikarp from Paldea, did the Giratina from Lost Origin, I believe did the Roaring Moon from Prismatic, did the Magneton from the Surging Sparks PC TVs, etc. So no idea if Shinji Kanda did that on purpose, but Pokemon has banned cards for much less. They have banned cards for Sabrina holding a Pokeball back in the day where they thought the middle finger was too high and it looked like, she was flipping you off. They have banned cards for Magamortar pointing a cannon right at the card instead of off to the side. They have banned cards for Grimer looking up a girl's skirt of what it looked like. They've banned, Jinx cards. Not going to get into all that. They have banned a lot of cards in the past. Okay. So fair warning, Pokemon does ban cards. Black and white is hard to hit a specific illustration rare because there's so many. So it's already a rare card. What if Pokemon pulls the production on that card temporarily because of the artwork? What if there actually becomes a scarce number of those things ever printed because Pokemon bans it? What if that actually happened or has happened or happens? That card could skyrocket. And then what if they correct the card and they take it out? then the original is going to be worth even more. And so there could be a long-term speculation there. Or all these things could just be no big deal. And the more that keep coming out, the less the kind of buyout manipulation happens. It could just continue to erode away over time. I think it'll always be an expensive card because it's Shinji Kanda and because of what has already happened. But it's impossible to say. But there are some conspiracies that honestly could play into long-term value in that card. So it's definitely worth keeping an eye on at this point. But it's already surpassed any expectation I had. I knew it was going to have crazy jumps up and down. I said that in a video. I never saw this coming, right? This is crazy. This is crazy. Thoughts on building battle stadiums? If the price per pack makes sense, it's basically what loose packs cost. I like it. I don't like holding on to ancillary items long-term, though. What do we got? Alex gives positive emotional support advice. If the hobby makes you mad, leave. And people get pissed because they don't get it their way. Hey, man, this isn't Burger King. The hobby does not give it to you your way. If you're mad, and it's not even if you're mad, leave. You can get mad and still, wake up the next day, be happy. But like, if it's causing you stress and like emotional pain, all I said was it might be time to step away for a little while and, touch grass and breathe some fresh air because, man, life's too short, man. Life is too short to live that way. Ooh, recently traded 3 Final Fantasy collectors. Oh, play boxes. Okay. For high-end 151 sealed products, the trade was valued more in my favor MP-wise. Do you think long-term that was a safe play? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Because Magic has always... Whoa, wait. Collectors play boxes. Did you mean play boxes or collector boxes? I'm going to say if it was play boxes, I think it's a good move because Magic will and always has reprinted play boxes. Collector boxes, dude, those are probably going to just moon. I don't think those are ever coming back down. I don't think Final Fantasy collectors are ever coming back down. So I probably would have held collectors. But it's not like you made a terrible idea. 151 is probably going to do great too. So I don't think it's a bad play either way. But if they were play boxes, it was a great play. Play boxes, in my opinion, will definitely come down. What do we got, man? Any crazy questions we haven't really addressed yet? When are you planning to sell a large position? How much of a percentage off market price do you calculate you're going to give up? I would likely sell large positions through consignment services, honestly. Just because a lot of the consignment services can get better prices than I could get myself selling it. And it's also very difficult to find one person that wants to take everything. And it's just much easier to have consignment services do the work for you than try to do all the work yourself. So that's probably the route I would go. Do I think Van Gogh Pikachu is still a good investment? I've always said it wasn't a good investment. And so I've been dead wrong. So guys, check that up. Go ahead and mark that down. Alex was wrong on Van Gogh Pikachu. I've always thought that was a bad play. And I was dead wrong. So there you go. Don't listen to Alex. And to this day, I still think it's not a good investment. And I'll probably still be wrong. I got to keep going with my gut. I don't know. It just doesn't. It just seems too plentiful and too widely available. But maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. Arc Strike, I understand this. If you need future generations to actually get the product to grow, if kids can't get it, the company will decline. But here's the problem. you can't show me any data that the kids aren't getting it. The only people promoting this nonsense are the negative YouTubers. That's it. There's no data that shows this. Every card shop I walk into, there are parents there buying it for their kids. Kids don't buy Pokemon. Let me repeat it. Kids don't buy Pokemon. Their parents buy it for them. And right now, all the sales data shows us parents are continuing to buy it for their kids. Heck, half of my breaks, the parents are there buying with their kids. This is false information that is being spewed with no data to back it up, just from feelings. People just feel it's too expensive. They're saying these things. Kids are getting it, guys. Kids are getting it. Go to shows. Kids are walking around with binders. They have it. They have the cards. I don't know. I don't know what to say. What is your best personal investment in Pokemon you've made? Approximate ROI, set, purchase date. Best. I mean, overall amount, it's Evolutions. Evolutions was by far my best overall play because I made such a large play on it back then. Like, because guys, back then, in 2008, 17, 18, 19, I was buying like, a few boxes of a set. I was buying like maybe a case, maybe 2 cases of a set. It was like my big positions. Like when Unified Minds got reprinted, I had 2 cases. When Burning Shadows got reprinted, I had 2 cases. I had a good amount of cases of Shining Legends ETBs and UPCs or SPCs, sorry. But Evolutions, for whatever reason, I know people hated the set. For whatever reason, I loved it. I thought it was going to be the biggest thing. I bought up to 10 cases of Evolutions booster boxes back then. And I also had Evolutions pre-release kits and ETB cases and everything. And so by and large, my best overall play ever was Evolutions. Best like percentage gain. I don't know, man. I didn't have any like massive percentage gains. Like Evolutions was probably it. It was like 10x. My base set booster box was about 10x. What I got on that. I mean, not quite 10x. I mean, honestly, Evolving Skies now is crazy. Yeah, that's pretty much all I can think of. I don't have any crazy plays because I never got into the trophy card game. I never got into like the poncho game. I never got into those cards that like I did have first edition base set Charizard, but it was just a PSA 7. And I did have a first edition blister pack, but I never had a first edition base set booster box. I did have first edition jungle and fossil and all those booster boxes, but nothing really went up more than like 10x. I think 10x is probably 1,000% was probably near the best I did on a lot of stuff. If I had to think back. So that's about it. Stuff like that. Stuff like that. I mean, other people have way better stories than that, by the way. I mean, other people could tell you stories they made, 50x, 100x on some of the singles and graded plays they had. Like, I don't have any plays like that. I never really went for the really niche stuff. I kept it in more of like the mainstream stuff that I felt was going to be really liquid and more sought after. I missed it. I didn't see the niche markets having that much of an effect and exposure to the general, community than it did. So it's just something I got wrong. Alex, you have to admit, I have to admit, guys, the purpose of MSRP is just to give a reference that prices are widely inflated though, right? Like the fact that a box releases 40% over MSRP seems unhealthy, but it was also unhealthy at 60% of MSRP. I don't know, Pokeball cards. Because I could use the same argument back at you. Couldn't you also say that maybe MSRP is too low? Maybe MSRP has not risen with inflation, has not risen with the times, and maybe MSRP should be higher than it is. I don't know. Like, But yeah, like if we're using your example that you think MSRP is at a good price and sets are coming out that far over it, then yeah, I guess we could agree with your point. But I don't know. I think there's a lot of other aspects that go in with it. I mean, a lot's changed, and not just the hobby but the world, right? Collectibles have become much more mainstream, much more accepted as value holders for their as an asset for their dollars or whatever currency they trade in. And so that has to be taken into account because things are a lot different than they were just 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So, but yeah, I mean, if you take into account boxes were 100, they used to sell 40, 50% under MSRP. Now they sell 40, 50% over MSRP. Then yeah, I understand. Looking at it that way, it can look lopsided. I agree. So you got me to admit it. Came late, buddy. Hey, appreciate you, James. Little lucky. I'm a teacher. I took a part-time job this summer, made good money, spent it all on Pokemon, baby. There it is. I'd be happy to pay MSRP if the price were available. I hear you, Don. I think a lot of us would be. But I think that's the issue. I think Rudy Alpha Investments talked about that, and I 100% agree. I think because there are so many people like myself, like Don, like many of you in the chat, just chomping at the bit to buy products. Like, again, I've been criticized for saying this because, the investment experts, they come out of the woodwork. They make videos about me. They put comments in my comment section, other comment sections. Alex is a stupid investor because he said he's holding large amounts of cash. And that's how he doesn't know what he's doing because cash is trash. It gets depleted by inflation and he should put money in assets because they're going up. Yes and no, right? Because I'm in a different position than a lot of people are. I'm in a position to have like a public persona and run a business that people reach out to periodically to want to sell off their collections. And if the collection makes sense for both of us at the price point we both deem reasonable, I can make that deal. So let me throw this at you. I fully invest all my cash, fully invested, right? I get someone reach out with $100,000 collection and they say, Alex, I'm willing to let it go for 75%. I will just give me 75,000 right now and I'll take it. And they say, but if you can't do it, I got to go ask somebody else. If I don't have the money and I can't liquidate things fast enough, I can't raise the funds, I lose that deal. So now I just lost out on a potential $25,000 just because I wasn't holding any cash. So those are the things you have to think about. Let's say one of this vision that we all have of MSRP happens and we get a massive reprint of a set and it drops to MSRP, but you have no cash. And so you're trying to liquidate things, sell this, sell that. You're trying to raise funds, get loans, whatever to buy, and it jumps back up and the deals are gone. And by the time you get stuff, the play's no longer there. I think in hobbies like this, especially when you can actually time the market based on things like that, and you can actually do well by buying off collections, taking deals when others can't, I think it's always smart to keep a certain level of cash available to make plays that others wouldn't be able to. And so, yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of people right now sitting on the sidelines with cash waiting for that moment. And so I think those moments are going to be very short-lived when and if they come, because there's a lot of investors that have not been investing as heavy as they used to because they're just crossing their fingers and waiting for that time to come. And it's just, we have a long way to go before we see boxes really drop because there's so much money waiting to be spent. So much money. All right, guys, I'm going to start scrolling through the comments pretty quickly, trying to get back to the to live. I'm back at like 1 o'clock. It's like 1:38, 1:39. So I got to go pretty quickly. If I missed your question, feel free to just leave it again at the in the comments and I'll get to it. I'm not trying to dodge your comment or question. I'm just trying to go a little quicker. So if I miss it, feel free to leave it again. What do I think about what happened with sneakers versus this? They were crazy expensive for resale for a really long time. And now a lot of even the highly sought after dropped in price on most sizes. I'll be honest with you, man. I don't know much about the sneaker market. And so I really don't know how, I wouldn't even call it print runs, production runs work. I don't know how the scarcity is on those things. I don't know how the companies like Nike or whoever handle that sort of things. I don't know if they like have reprints or redrops, you could call them. I don't know how any of that works. I don't know how to, measure how many are in existence and all that stuff. And so it could have been a bunch of things. Could just be too many produced because they're a consumable item. I really don't know. I couldn't tell you. I'm not going to try and speak out of my ass and give you a take that's, unjustified or uneducated. What do we got? Trying to find some we haven't really talked about. Trying to find comments we haven't really went for. Yeah, I did talk about the scam. And yeah, it's awful. They hopefully, Pokeball and Rattle, I know, talked about it, and everybody, helps and finds the people and stops that kind of behavior. 100% has no place in the hobby. I did talk about that for sure. Alex, when my prismatic position hits 6 figures, what percentage will you be buying it at for your streams? I don't know, man. Whatever it's going for. Just like I always tell people, I pay market price and then I sell market price. I try to get it at a percentage of market price and I sell at market price, right? I don't try to pander to the MSRP gang. I don't try to join the MSRP, sale deal. Hats off to those that do. I buy at market, I pay at market. That's all it is. And I try to make a small percentage to stay in business and continue to run. That's all it is. It's funny. I don't know why we've reached this point, but it started out like being mad at billionaires, and then it was being mad at like 100 million. Then we're mad at millionaires. And now people are just mad at anyone who just like is successful in any form of the imagination. Like people are just mad at random business owners, like random people that, take all the, all the risk. They take risk. They go all in. They try to make a living for them, maybe for their families. They have a bunch of emotional turmoil all the time, worrying about failure, being overworked because you're usually working more as an entrepreneur than you would. And by the way, no one's looking for sympathy. No, I'm not looking for sympathy. But it's funny that people that like do this are vilified. They're vilified for their business making a profit. And sure, you could call out like sleazeball sales tactics, or people are doing that, or people who are being disingenuous, or whatever else. You could call out a million different things, but anyone who's just running a business, doing everything by the book, being upfront and honest, I don't know why it's so vilified that they make a profit. It's a strange place we've got to in 2025. But yeah, I mean that's all I ever try to do. So as always, guys, I appreciate everyone who just shows up and watches the videos. Like that's all the support I've ever asked for is thank you for watching the videos. If you can, hit the like button. If you can, hit the sub button, leave a comment, type in the chat. Other than that, man, yeah, I do pack breaks. I stream. It's fun. It's entertaining. People like it. If you want to come and hang out in the chat and just watch, it's free entertainment. You can just free entertainment, watch packs be open, watch the best hits be pulled. If you want to get involved, the website's there. You can jump on, you can buy some packs, you can be entertained. If you don't want to buy, I've never got mad at anybody, never tried to coerce anyone to buying, right? Never tried to coerce anyone to buying off my eBay, my TCG player. And it's weird that that's a negative thing in 2025. I don't know. Just strange. It's really strange. The alt arts overall are better than SIRs. I think that's subjective. And I think as time goes on and the value of the Scarlet Violet era, has time to grow, I think a lot of these SIRs are going to outpace the alt arts. You cannot, okay, Umbreon VMAX, that's like a card of a generation that's put on, that's like on a pedestal. Everything else, though, is fair game. The Bubble Mew, I will put up against any other alt art. Any other alt art. I don't care. I think the Bubble Mew could actually surpass all of the other ones. I think it could surpass Garatina. I think it could surpass Gengar. I truly believe that. And over time, we'll see. I think the Charizard from 151, think about this. It's already more than the Brilliant Stars Charizard. Already. It's already more valuable. I could go on and on. Like, I think a lot of these SIRs and even some of the illustration rares, like the Magikarp, the Groudon, I actually can honestly say I like more than a lot of the alt arts. There's a lot of alt arts I really enjoy too, but I don't know, Pokeball, dude. I actually don't 100% agree with that, dude. I really don't agree with that 100%. I think there's a lot of great SIRs, and I think they're going to age very well. I really do. Question I have mentioned a few times. Do you see a scenario where Destin Rivals goes team up or Cosmic Eclipse level because Pokemon moves on to the next era in an effort to print to demand? Dude, if that happened, if they pull a team up with Destin Rivals and don't reprint the boxes, yes, it could absolutely be the next team up. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. If they somehow, some way, again, I personally, no FOMO. I do not think they're going to do that. I think they're most definitely going to reprint Destin Rivals. If somehow, some way they did not, it will 100% be similar to team up levels. Just going to throw it out there. But I don't think that's going to happen. So don't get it twisted. Here we go. Even though there isn't much relationship with Mimic Brew, that's not true. His last giving you credit where it's due was actually commendable. So no, guys, I've mentioned this before. There was a relationship with Mimic Brew. Mimic Brew used to when he was Pokey Dan, he used to reach out to me and talk with me and be friendly with me and ask me questions and bounce content ideas off me. I have all the Instagram conversations, and he won't deny it because he knows. And then all of a sudden, one day, nothing happened between us. He just switched up and figured, hey, I can get a bunch of views trashing this guy, and just started talking trash on me. And so I stopped talking to him. And that is why I banned him from the channel. That is why I don't have anything to do with him. So there was a relationship there, but he changed up like a lot of people have in this hobby. I've called others out before, right? I've called Pokebeard out. Pokebeard never had any interaction with the guy before, randomly reached out to me on Instagram. Again, have the receipts if I need to show them, if anyone tries to deny it. Reached out to me, had questions about getting sponsorships. He hadn't had any sponsorships before. He saw my channel did. He asked me questions about sponsorships. And so I just gave him the information. We, talked, a little bit here or there from time to time, invited him on the channel. And he was busy, said, wait till here. I reached out to him a few more times. He turned me down every time. And so I just kind of let it go. No big deal. Schedules don't always work out. And then all of a sudden I saw him talking trash on me, with Mimic Brew or whatever. And then I've seen him talk trash in other people's comment sections about me. And it's like the amount of people that pretend to befriend you or want something from you or want advice from you and then change up and talk trash on you when you've done nothing. it truly shows you people's true colors in this hobby. And so, yeah, man, I could go on and on, but yeah, I mean, that's why I have nothing to do with Mimic Brew. It has nothing to do with anything else other than he's two-faced. He's fake. Alex, for the first time ever, I've started to liquidate some of my sealed positions, mainly XY. Okay. How can I protect myself, prepare for tax season? Most likely looking around 50K of sales. So I can't get into taxes. I can't talk taxes. I'm not a tax professional. What I would tell you to do is look into your accounting practices, talk to an accountant, and see if you want to be on accrual-based or cash-based. Cash-based is accounting. You can do a lot more to offset your tax bill than you can in accrual, in my opinion. And so, I would look into that, ask an accountant about it, because if you are planning to buy more Pokemon products, you could definitely offset it. If you're not, then I don't know as much about the other ways, because the way I do it is I buy a lot of inventory and long-term holds to offset a lot of my profits each year to take advantage of that. So I just can't get too deep into taxes. I'm sorry. Have I started accumulating prismatic ETBs? It's funny you say that. I actually just made a pretty large deal. And I did pick up, we'll say more than 10 cases. I did pick up more than 10 cases of prismatic ETBs recently to add on to the cases that I already had. And so I have started to take nibbles and start to slowly build a position at the current prices. My position I already have is at a lower cost basis. So I'm actually upping the cost basis by taking this position. But I want to start building because I truly believe it's going to be a big set going forward. And I'm not as worried about the sealed cases deteriorating as much in value, because it seems like Pokemon's going the route of these Costco and Sam's Club bundles, meaning the sealed cases are going to be more and more scarce. And so, yes, I have started to take a larger position, and that is where some of my cash is going right now. So, yeah, good question. I have started to buy prismatic sealed cases though only. Dude, I hope this is probably one of the most controversial debated topics in the hobby is serialized cards. I'm a fan of serialized cards. I think they have to be done correctly, whether it be like Magic does in a specific extra product like a collector box, or maybe in a specialty set that they deem like not playable, like all the cards in the set, like they're not play worthy or something. But you can't they couldn't do it where it'd be a product that game players need the cards. It would have to be a product or a set where it's just for like collecting purposes, because they're going to be astronomically high. There will be no reprints, obviously. And so I hope Pokemon eventually finds a way to create a product where it's possible, because I think there is a certain portion of this hobby that really does want it, but also keep the other products cheap and easy to obtain for the casuals and the players as well. So I'm a fan of it. Others aren't. How many companies do you trust more than Pokemon in the next 20 years? I really don't know. It's a good question. I trust Nostalgianomics. I trust Nostalgianomics LLC, baby. How is Shining Mewtwo your favorite Pokemon when you hate on Vintage? Well, first of all, there's so much wrong with what you just said, BJ. First of all, I don't hate on Vintage. I say that I invest in Modern because I want to be in something where I'm more at the ground floor, where the liquidity is higher, where it hasn't went through its intense growth phase, where I think there is more opportunity. But also, Shining Legends Mewtwo is from Sun and Moon. I personally don't consider Sun and Moon vintage. I consider that still modern. And so maybe you thought I was referring to the Neo Destiny Mewtwo, but I was referring to the Shining Legends Mewtwo GX. So yeah, I can do a Scarlet Violet tier list soon for sure. I'll make sure to get on that, Pokepoo. Yeah, Pokeball cards. He's one of the people who's really against serialized. We go back and forth on it all the time. He says, please, for the love of God, no serialized cards in Pokemon. This hobby is for all ages. Keep that high stakes gambling to sports cards and adult hobbies. Yeah, he's Pokeball cards, and he's not the only one. There's a lot of people that are very against serialized, and that's cool, right? We can all be friends and have different views. So yeah, I know there's certain people that are just really against it. So I get it. I get it. Brian, the reason there are big discrepancies in TCG Player and eBay, usually, as items age, is because once boxes get expensive, people want to buy it when they see pictures of the item. So on eBay, they want to see a bunch of different pictures. They want to see exactly the condition of the box, and they want to make sure it's a minty box they're buying for their collection if they're going to pay multiple hundreds of dollars, if not multiple thousands of dollars. Whereas TCG Player normally does much better on the more kind of like newer, real in-demand, high-stock items because people just want to buy the ease of buying. They want a quick buying experience, very easy to find, very easy to transact. Whereas as things age and get older and more expensive, people are more of a like more like hardcore like value collector takes over, and they want to dissect those things with like a magnifying glass. And that's why eBay usually does better on sales for like older and more higher value items. That's just how it is. You'll see the same thing with high value singles. Like go look at like old singles, they'll usually do better on eBay. Oh man, the E4 guys, my buddies at E4, have those E4 guys admitted they were wrong to you? No, absolutely not. Nope, nope. I have multiple accounts from multiple IP addresses banned from that platform permanently because I kept getting banned. But yeah, no one ever really admits they're wrong in this hobby. They just move on and find something else to trash you over. And it's just the way things are. People they'll never admit you're right. They'll never admit they were wrong, and they'll kick the can down the road. Or when they figure out they're infinitely wrong, they'll just blame a reason for it. Well, it shouldn't be that way. Well, it's all these stupid people that are paying it. It shouldn't be that valuable. They'll argue with the market. They'll like say the market's wrong or something. And no, that's just their MO, man. If it doesn't go their way, they just like preach that it shouldn't be that way, and everyone buying these things are all idiots. It's you can't win those arguments. You just can't win them. What do you think about Danny Phantom's most recent video about Pokemon actually charging more to distributors? I didn't see it. I don't know anything if that's true or not. I do know that distributors did 100% raise prices. I can confirm that. So distributors are charging more per booster box than they were on the last set on Destin Rivals. And so I can confirm that. I don't know if Pokemon is actually charging more to them, though. I don't care what anyone in the world says. That Seismitoad is not worth over $100. I hear you, man. I hear you. This is 2025, though. We've thrown caution out the window. There are valid concerns to be mad. If this hobby becomes only for adults and only adults can afford all the $15 packs full of serialized cards, you can bet the hobby will die out in 30 years. 30 years? Well, geez. I don't mean to be like a negative Nancy here, but I'm starting to think I'll be like 65 in 30 years. Like, the future's unknown. I don't know if it's that bad of a thing. I'm just giving you crap, Pokeball, man. I know you're against it, dude. I know. I just think there's probably a way to have the best of both worlds. I know there's a lot of collectors out there, including myself, that want a bigger chase, right? A 1 out of 80 packs SIR is just not a big enough chase, man. It just isn't. Maybe if they don't go full serialized, it'd be nice if they made like a 1 per pallet hit. 1 per pallet or 1 per 10 case hit or something. Like, it'd just be nice to have something big to chase after that was worth like $1,000 or $2,000 card or something, where it wasn't a bunch of cheap cards. I think that's what collectors are just saying. And so I think that's where serialization comes into play. But I understand your side of things too, where things need to remain affordable for everybody. I get it. I just think there can be products for everybody. You know, there could be a collector product for that, and then the regular booster box is always a hobby box and a retail box, something like that. It'd be cool to see something like that. So I don't know. What else we got? Going to end things up here shortly, but I want to take some more questions before we do. Alex, do I think a single Magic collector box or collector booster packs will keep up with collector displays? Hard to tell. I don't know enough about the long-term Magic market. That's how I don't know. In Pokemon, no, but Magic, I would think no, but you never know. I would think not, though. I mean, because you have to believe, right? You have to believe a lot of packs on the market. It's not that they're searched. It's not there's anything wrong with them, but it's the same thing as if, you know, you open a Magic box and you pull a serialized card, right? You actually pull a Chocobo, or you actually pull one of the big hits. Well, what's to stop you from then selling off the rest of the packs, right? Where it's like there's nothing technically wrong with them, but they're probably not going to have the big hit in them. And so, like, I think the boxes are always going to hold some sort of premium, and probably a bigger premium. That's what I would think, but I could be wrong. Maybe Magic's different. I don't know. Let's see. What else we got? Thoughts on buy-sell percentages on sealed products. I hate the idea of buying of a buyer buying sealed at 80 to 90% or whatever rate, knowing that sealed always goes up. Why don't people pay the full amount? Dude, all right. Let me explain this to you. 85% is the full amount. If you sell on eBay or you sell on TCG Player, okay, and you pay the 13.5% listing fees and payment processing fees, and then you also pay to ship that item, and you're probably going to want either signature required or insurance on it, after everything's said and done, you are going to clear in your bank account 85%. I think people that have never sold before do not understand this. So you can either take that route, or you can go vend at a show. Now, at a show, if it's not local, you have to either drive or fly to the show. You have to pay for hotels and meals, all that. If it is local, you still have to pay for your tables, right? You have to pay for any cases and things you want. You have to go sit there all day. You have to hope you can sell it. And so all of that gets added in the price. So even if you get 100%, after taking all the expenses, you might only get 85 or 90%. And so the idea that you ever get 100%, the only way you get 100% is if somehow you find someone locally that you can literally drive to and give them in person. They give you cash, and there's no payment processing fee. There's no fee. There's no shipping. There's no anything. And so, one, someone buying sealed product like myself, I'm not going to pay you more than what you would get selling it yourself online, right? Because think about it. You have to do a lot of work selling it online. You got to take pictures. You got to make descriptions, make titles. You got to, let it sit, wait for it. It doesn't sell right away. You got to do that for every single item. And so a buyer is giving you an out. They are giving you funds, that they're giving you free liquidity to take everything at once. Okay. So you're both getting something out of that deal. And then secondly, is that the buyer is always taking a risk. Sealed product may have always went up, but it doesn't always go up all the time. Meaning the market could dip for the next couple months and then go up later. So the buyer has to take on some sort of safety net in case the market does dip in the next week, month, whatever. And so, no, those are very fair rates. If you want 100%, you got to do all the work yourself. You can't just type an email and say, hey, you want to buy this? I want 100%. No, if you want 100%, go do all the work yourself, right? Don't reach out to a buyer. And so, no, that's 100% legitimate rates. Now, once you start getting down to like 50, 60%, something like that, it's ridiculous. Even 70 with sealed products, probably ridiculous. But yeah, 80, 85, 90%, those are legitimate rates. I don't know what else to tell you. Maybe if anyone hasn't tried selling themselves, go do that. Make the transaction, get paid, ship it all yourself, do all that. And then you might appreciate 85% a lot more. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. What else do we have? Ooh, will the cards printed in the Pocket TCG ever be in actual sets? I don't know, man. It doesn't look like, or maybe they'll end up in Chinese sets at this point. Jeez, maybe they'll just start putting them in Chinese sets. Like, doesn't seem like we're getting them here. Doesn't seem like we're getting them here. Man, guys, I tried to get to as many comments and questions as I could. If I did miss yours, I do apologize. We've been going for almost 2 hours now. I'm going to try to take a few more. I'll probably hop off in about 5 minutes or so. So I do appreciate all of you showing up to hang out today. I know we had like over 400 people in here most of the time. So thank you all for spending part of your Friday with me. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. And if anyone does want to either open packs and jump in a break, I'm having one tonight, nostalgianomics.com. Even if you don't want to jump in, just show up and hang out. Just watch it. Have a good time. Watch others hit some big stuff. But that'll be tonight, 7 p.m. Central. Hold on. We gotta shill. I gotta shill before I take my last few comments. Hold on. I gotta do this right. I gotta become a shillionaire. Am I shilling right yet, guys? Here it is. Here it is. Nostalgianomics.com. Hold on. So here's the live pack break. We got the random packs available where you can possibly hit PSA 10 slabs. We've got ourselves the Chinese booster boxes, the Evolutions. We got Black Bolt and White Flare. We got the new Gundam TCG. We got Destined, Prismatic 151, Paldean Fates, Evolving Skies, Fusion, Chilling, and Crown Zenith, as well as Hidden Fates and Celebrations tonight. So all kinds of goodies tonight if anybody does want to jump in. And the 3 of the big slabs tonight that you can hit, we have the Charizard V-Star, Sword and Shield Promo 262. We got the Charizard V Max Sword and Shield Promo 261, both from the Charizard UPCs, both in PSA 10s. We also have an Alt Art Charizard V PSA 10, just to name a few. So it is the night of the Charizard, baby. The night of the Charizard for anyone that wants to come share in the madness and have some fun. Or just watch. Or just watch. Here we go. Speaking of that, is rip and ship a legitimate business? The hobby wants a whole or just a glorified gambling ploy to draw out more dollars from the end consumer. If rip and ship is gambling, then pack opening would be gambling, correct? It's the same thing. You're opening packs, whether one person's opening packs or another person's opening packs, it's all the same thing. It's just, I think rip and ship is more of a community driven thing where everyone's hanging out together. It'd be kind of like all of you and all your buddies hanging out at a card shop or at like an event, and you're all ripping packs together, and everyone's watching. It's sort of the same thing. It's more of an entertainment, an event, more than just like the act of ripping a pack and gambling for a card. But so I guess in a sense, all pack opening of any hobby is all a gamble, if that's what you're asking. But is it a legitimate business? I mean, anything's a legitimate business. I don't. It's kind of like the whole old argument of, is it an investment? Well, anything is an investment. The act of putting money into something with the hopes of it going up in value, that's an investment. That holding any asset, whatever that may be, whether people deem it as an investment or not, is an investment. So like whether anyone deems something as a business or not is irrelevant if they are running operations. Like they're running operations, they're making a profit or a loss. It's a business. I don't know what else to say about it. Why do so many tubers disagree and can't get along? Is it because they don't fix a narrative for each other? No, I think it's because some people feel so strongly about a subject that anyone who feels opposite about it is like a bad person to them. Like they think they're like an evil person, right? So like me wanting cards to have value or me making a profit to some people that's bad. That's evil. That's against the hobby. It's against people. And so they just don't feel, it's not like, saying, oh, well, I like that card. Well, I don't like that card. I like this card. It's deeper than that. It's deeper than a disagreement for a lot of people. It's like a deep-seated almost hatred for what, someone like me or someone else stands for, I think. And so I think that's part of it. That's part of it. The other part of it is it's not that deep. It's just content. I hate to burst your bubble. It's just content. And that's why, a lot of the bait that people throw out there trying to, use me in the thumbnail, use me in the title, talk about me in the videos, have their followers, come raid my streams, reach out to me in comments. They want to make it into an online beef. They want to make it into something because it's good for content. It's good for engagement. It's good for views. And I think that's part of it. I really do. So I think some people legitimately like deep-seated, they just hate you. And other people are just like, oh man, I could really get some views for this. I could really get the community riled up. Let's make some content. Let's get some back and forth. And I got to be honest, it works. It works. So they do it. It keeps working. They keep doing it. It's success. It's the way it is. It's kind of like people get mad at me for clickbait titles. Alex, why do you do clickbait titles and thumbnails? I'll ask you the same question. Why do you click on them? Why don't you click on my videos when they're not clickbait titles, when the thumbnails aren't good? It is because it is, right? The content exists because the viewers exist. When the viewers no longer exist, the content, the clickbait, all that will no longer exist. It's that easy. It's not that deep. It really isn't. I think people want it to be deeper than it is because they want to like believe in this, online beef and this struggle and all this. I mean, it's not that deep with me. Maybe some people, kind of like the fringe, the crazies it is. I think most are just doing it for the clicks, man. The best rip and ship in the business. Yo, Republic Bricks, what's up, dude? Alex and I are sparring at KC on stage for anyone who wants to watch. We actually set that up. We're gonna have Jason Page and Tech9 both sing during it. It's gonna be like epic proportions of entertainment. So make sure you guys show up for that. It's gonna be Lego versus Pokemon. I can't wait, man. Can't wait to see you there, brother. Yeah, hey, look, dude, I'm not saying Pokebeard's a bad guy. What I'm saying is during the time, between the time I guess he reached out to me and was, I guess, like wanting to be cordial, befriend me, whatever it may be, and the time he made statements about me, I must have done something, or he heard something that he didn't like or whatever. And so his opinion of me obviously changed, and then he became vocal about it. And so it's just a change up. I just gave that example of people just changing up on you online, but it doesn't mean he's a bad guy. He's just another person that disagrees with me or doesn't like me or my content or whatever it may be. That's all it is. Again, it's not that serious. It's not that serious. All right, guys. We're going to end it there. I truly appreciate all you guys showing up and all the comments. I'm going to leave you guys with this. I don't know where you're at, but if it's a nice day out, take a walk around your area, touch some grass, talk to some real people out there, have some real communication, and get off this online world. It's a big, beautiful place out there. It's not as serious and negative and divisive and all these things that the YouTube and the social media space can be. And so I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy it. Hope to see some of you guys there, all of you guys there on the stream tonight. And that's all I got, guys. Hope the video was fun, entertaining. Hope we heard some nuggets that helped you out. I hope everyone keeps having all the success in the world and the hobby. And see you guys back here next time. We're out.